Senator Joe Manchin's chief of staff, soon former chief of staff, Lance West, has a new job. And I just want to congratulate him on his new position with the American Petroleum Institute as vice president of federal affairs. Well, that's very cool and not at all distressing that the chief of staff to one of the most influential senators barely waited a couple of months after the climate bill debate ended to go work as a lobbyist for the American Petroleum Institute. And I want to talk about some aspects of this, and I'm going to focus on Axios, their coverage of this, because sometimes the way they choose to cover things and word things I find to be amazing. So they said why this matters. As Manchin's top aide for the last 2 years, West knows the politics and the players of the energy and climate change debates. His hiring indicates that API is preparing to play offense and defense in the new Congress. And then they just move on to the next paragraph. Is that the only reason that this matters, this story? Nothing else. It doesn't say anything about, what he was doing as chief of staff of Joe Manchin. We're supposed to believe, by the way, that he got through the legislative session last year and then he was hanging out at Christmas and he was like, I have literally never thought about where else I might get paid. I'm gonna reach out to these people who've never heard of me and we've certainly never talked, and hey, what do you know? They're gonna hire me as one of their VPs of BS. Like the idea that Axios doesn't think that this means anything, that there's certainly no corruption going on. Or when you say that the American Petroleum Institute is preparing to play offense, would you care to define what that means and what the consequences of that might be for the American people, for humanity broadly, or for our planet? Because it feels consequential. There's a lot more here to dive into, but Francesca, I could go on for a long time. What are your thoughts about this new opportunity for Lance West?
No, I mean, it's important to critique the reporting because it's surprising that they even reported on it. But yeah, this is the revolving door of Washington between industry and the halls of power, and it is as natural to them as trading stock, and owning and trading stock is to Nancy Pelosi and everybody else who has and owns stock and could be doing straight up insider trading. So it makes total sense. And again, it's like, this is the guy that we're making overtures to. And they are drenched in coal money and oil money. And of course, the American Petroleum Institute, they've been behind the scenes for decades, right? They cheered on the war in Iraq, right? They were very, very happy about, and they still are happy about our relationship with Saudi Arabia. Yemen be damned, wars started abroad be damned. They want to drill, baby drill, and they're sort of, this is like, again, old Sarah Palin stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, that was cute back when we had, like 20 years to save the planet. Now we've got 3. So I don't know what to do with it. Manchin, he's just like he's just like a bad piece of meat lodged in America's windpipe. And we can't cough him out. We're just gonna, and so I guess we coughed part of him out, which is this dude, Lance.
It's all very disheartening because every time you feel like there's somebody who's, the connections are so quick and so easy, right? This guy goes, it's so clear, right? I mean, we knew Manchin was getting money from the lobbyists, the oil lobbyists and coal industry, and now this guy's working for them. And we need principled membership. We need principled leaders. We need more, I guessing, I don't know, I haven't done the research, but I'm guessing Bernie Sanders, 10% of the 100% are definitely corrupt. I am not corrupt, 90% of the 10%. That's my little impression of Bernie. But the point being, we need more people that possibly are not corrupted by their connections to these industries. We need more term limits. We need people to be able to get kicked out. You shouldn't be able to stay in these positions for 30, 40 years to get these connections, to be able to just wheel and deal. There should be consequences. And unfortunately, there isn't. And as Francesca said, when you go to the bigger picture, obviously the oil industry enjoys all of the chaos. Similar to the weapons industry right now. Like if you think about it, the weapons industry has an interest in the war continuing in Ukraine and Russia. The weapons industry has an interest in Iran being an enemy of America because they can sell weapons to the Middle East. So all of these industries that are making a ton of money off of destroying the earth we need to find ways, and hopefully there are members trying to hold them accountable. But the unfortunate thing is the way they spin things, and they get the ordinary American to, like we were all saying at the beginning, to go back and defend the industry by saying like, oh, global warming's a left-wing hoax. Well, it's not, and it's affecting you average American person who's now trying to defend this industry. It's all very disheartening.
I would love to be fact-checked on this, but when was the last time you heard Senator so-and-so's chief of staff has resigned to go take a position as VP of blankety blank at the Sierra Club or 350 or whatever? Like, why is it that that's never the way it goes? I mean, after all, they're following their interests, not money. It's not about a payday or whatever. Really fast, and I know that I wish we could spend the rest of the hour on this. I just want to critique a few more sentences in this piece. Through the on-again and off-again Build Back Better negotiations, he developed a reputation as a fierce advocate for Manchin's positions. Hans Nichols, I am begging you to consider the possibility that it wasn't Manchin's positions that he was a fierce advocate for, now that you know he was setting up a job with the American Petroleum Institute. Is it possible that Manchin was fighting for something else's positions? Is that conceivable? To write a sentence like that, it has to be like baked into your DNA that yes, there's a revolving door. There is nothing wrong with that. Why would we ever question that? That's just the way it is. And if you think that it's weird that people in influential positions amongst the most powerful senators' offices then go to work for the industries that we literally just legislated on while those negotiations were happening, if you think that that's weird, then you're a radical. I guess I haven't been in DC long enough to understand that. I'm just gonna read the beginning of this next paragraph. A former Division I golfer, West worked, I'm stopping there because what the hell and who cares?
No.
He's gonna be lobbying for the oil industry as we catapult towards climate apocalypse. I don't care about his short game. What is the difference there?
This reads like Variety magazine of DC. Like this is like the Variety of Beltway politics. Like that's how much ass they're kissing. It's amazing. Like formerly worked on this project. Anyway, also helped with a couple of attempted coups in Venezuela. No big deal. Like all these, nobody cares. I just want to quickly say, John, I know you're in the middle of something, but look, this makes me respect George Santos. All right, you guys make fun of him. You think he's a big liar, but at least he didn't work in the oil sector before. He might have lied about it, but he didn't actually work for them. Why are we getting on him when he didn't work in like real estate? Don't we have enough former real estate people in office now? Good on George Santos. Do nothing. Then it's the first thing, do no harm, and he's doing it.
And by the way, John, you think that the golf the golf fact is not a big deal. To me, it is, because that's why I stay off the golf course, because I think everybody who golfs is ruining the planet. There's always discussions, like Francesca just said, they're probably talking about oil deals. They're talking about overthrowing Venezuelans. I just feel people that go to golf, something bad is always happening. It's too long of a game for something bad not to happen. You understand what I'm saying? Like they could start with good intentions, but by hole 18, they're like, listen, we're gonna storm the Capitol. That's what happens.
You're halfway through a day of it and you're just like, I feel like Lula needs to be taken out or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Good point. Okay, everyone go to the Axios piece if you wanna lose your mind, and or just read it and accept what it says and forget the fact that an Exxon lobbyist bragged on video about having daily access to Joe Manchin, and when the piece credits Lance West for helping us get that IRA climate deal, ignore the fact that oil company executives were coming out and saying how much they loved Manchin's role in that and helping to limit how effective it actually was. And then think about the long-term cost of the effect that Joe Manchin had on that entire debate last year.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that All you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.